Steelers Nation, the free agency period is literally right around the corner. The legal tampering period is open literally this Monday. The NFL Combine is behind us, which means it's about that time. It's time for mock draft season, folks.
Yes, it is, brother.
It is time for us to get out our first official mock draft, our only pre-free agency mock draft. We do at least one of these pre-free agency mock drafts every year, so we got to get one out this week. We have projectedly 12 picks.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, which is more than I can remember the Steelers ever having. I can confirm and spoil to you guys that we do not have 12 picks in this mock. We have actually 11.
So what does that mean?
Here we go. Steelers trade up with the Buccaneers.
Yes, a trade-up scenario.
Yeah, they trade up because we have to, okay? If you guys been listening to the channel for any period of time, we've been very vocal that the Steelers need to trade up for a wide receiver. They could stay at 21 and take a receiver if they somehow fall. Do I think either of the top three fall? No, I do not.
Honestly, if I'm the Steelers, I wouldn't take that chance. You have 12 picks. I don't necessarily think you need to keep all 12. Just trade some of those picks up. Trade some of them away to trade up and get your wide receiver. So, I mean, spoiler alert, it's wide receiver in the first round.
Of course it is. We need a wide receiver.
But who?
I am going to die on the hill that wide receiver should be the first pick. Could they go corner? Could they go D-line? Could they go O-line if they stay at 21? Absolutely. Anything's possible, Omar Khan. But we have been vocal for a long time that we need to trade for a receiver. So the Steelers trade up with the Buccaneers for the 15th pick. Steelers trade their 21st overall pick, their first round pick, the 85th pick, one of their third rounders, and the 159th pick, which is a fifth rounder, to the Buccaneers for their 15th overall pick in the first round and the 153rd pick. So they swap firsts. Bucs get an extra third and they swap fifths, essentially. Steelers trade up to the 15th pick because we need to. And with the 15th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft live in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Steelers select
Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC.
This is my wide receiver one in this draft class. Wide receiver is stacked. There is a significant drop-off from the top three to the rest, but the wide receiver class is stacked. Lemon is at the top of my board at the wide receiver rankings. He is my wide receiver one. He is who I ultimately want for the Steelers to trade up and select. Will he be there at 15? We don't know. He could very well be the first receiver off the board. He could still be there for some reason or another. There's reports, there's some tweets or posts going around of character issues because he, quote-unquote, bombed combine interviews.
That's funny because I didn't hear anything about that with him coming out of college.
I don't buy that for 1 second. I think that's a smokescreen from somebody that's trying to get him to drop, which, hey, if that benefits the Steelers, by all means, I'm still taking Makai Lemon. I'm not worried about no character issues or anything rumored going around or that interview that he put out that was kind of weird. Whoop-de-do. He is an all-out number one wide receiver talent. Like, this would be your wide receiver one. This is the perfect complement to DK Metcalf. He's 5'11", 192. But he plays like 6'2", 212.
Plays a lot bigger for his size. And he was primarily used in the slot at USC, but that doesn't mean that he can't play out wide. He's had some out wide snaps, and I think he's very capable of making that transition to the NFL. I mean, he's that good.
He is an ultimate playmaker. When you watch the tape, when you watch the film, when you watch and look at him, there's a few things that stand out to you. One, he rarely drops the ball. He has a 2.2% drop rate in his last 2 seasons. He has yak ability as he's created 881 yak yards in his last 2 years. He breaks off tackles, forcing 34 missed tackles in his last 2 years.
Incredible.
He has incredible hands. He's got outstanding route running ability, very quick release at the line, pristine route runner that creates separation quickly, and he has crazy acceleration. The guy is an ultimate playmaker.
And some of these catches that he makes, I don't even know how he holds on to the ball. Like, it just goes to show, how dependable and reliable and even tough that he is. The hits that he takes, he just gets right back up and just laughs at the defender's face. It was like, guess what? I caught the ball right in front of you. But he brings that confidence level. He actually reminds me a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
There's a lot of people that are saying Amon-Ra St. Brown or like a Jackson Smith and Jigba obviously. I see a bit of Puka Nacua in him.
Okay,
He's
that's
not
fair.
he's not as big as Puka Nacua, but he plays like it because they're just as explosive. They have just as strong hands, and they're massive playmakers. We need playmakers. Omar Khan said it last year at the Combine. We need playmakers on the offense. We need a receiver with route running ability. We need that explosiveness. We need someone to complement DK. Makai Lemon could be that guy. If it means that we have to trade up in front of the Jets, why not? Because I do think the Jets are going to take a receiver at some point within one of their first 2-round picks. So I got to think if we want to trade up for a receiver, there's a couple teams that we would have to. Top 10 would be more ideal, but that's going to be tough and probably going to cost some 2027 capital, which I don't think Omar Khan wants to do. If we're going to trade up, I feel like 15 would be the sweet spot. 13 more so in front of the Ravens just to give them the middle finger. But I'm not sure if the Rams really want to trade back. We'll see what they do. We know they like to trade away their first rounder, so it's possible.
And when it comes to draft time, it's always unpredictable. I mean, you never know what could happen.
And well, draft boards are different. Players drop for some reason. Makai Lemon could be one of those guys, and at that point, yeah, I'm trading right up front of the Jets and drafting the number 1 receiver in this draft class.
Yeah, listen, no matter what, Lemon's my wide receiver 1 in this draft class. He's the top guy on my list that I really want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I mean, he just brings it all to the table. He has that confidence. He has that level of play. He has exactly what you need for him to be a factor on game days. And that's what the Steelers need.
He has ultimate wide receiver 1 tendencies. That's what we need, and that's why we trade up and select Lemon with the 15th pick in this mock draft. Going on to the second round, the 53rd overall pick projectedly. With the 53rd overall pick. Now, receivers top need. What's the second biggest need? You could argue corner, quarterback, guard, D-line, linebacker, safety. We go corner here because we don't have a starting corner opposite JPJ as of now. This is pre-free agency, so anything could happen afterward. But right now, we don't have an opposite starting corner, and we don't have a slot corner. That could be Ramsey, but the Steelers might opt to put him at safety. At 53, in the second round, the Pittsburgh Steelers select D'Angelo Pons, cornerback out of Indiana. You want a playmaker, you want a lockdown nickel corner, you want somebody that's going to bring that physical demeanor to the cornerback position. You want youth there, you want speed, athleticism. Pons is one of those guys that's just going to be, you just know, like when you look at a football player, when you watch the film, you just know this guy is going to be an absolute demon on Sundays.
Yeah, I mean, like you talk about this cornerback class and you look at it, it's like there's a lot of productive players in this group, right? But Pons is one of those players at the top of that list. Like he just brings it every single time, every single game day. Well, he's that type of player.
With Indiana and them winning the Natty, he's just one of those guys that stood out. And there's a lot of players coming out of Indiana this year that stands out, but Pons.
Oh, he's definitely among them. Yeah, without a doubt. And he's no big guy. You know, it's no secret there. He's got a small stature. He's 5'9", 182 pounds. He's not the biggest guy, but don't let the size fool you. He plays a lot bigger for his size. He's very physical. He's very sticky. He's a ball hawk to a degree. He knows how to track the ball in the air. He brings a lot to the table. Now, due to that small stature, he may have to move full-time to nickel cornerback. And at the college level, he doesn't have a lot of reps there. He's played a lot of outside cornerback at the college level, not a lot of slot. But at the NFL level and just how he plays and his level of play, I don't think that transition is going to be too difficult for him.
It's a natural fit. Plus, he has special teams ability, which is going to add immediate special teams value. That way, he could transition nicely to the nickelback position at the same time, right? Pons, obviously, he didn't start at Indiana. He didn't. He started at James Madison, where he got 2 interceptions in his first year there. Who was head coach? Curt Cignetti. So when Curt Cignetti went from James Madison to Indiana, you already knew that he was going to pry Pons over, which he did. And in his 2 seasons with Indiana, he collected 5 picks, 2 of them being pick sixes.
Yeah, he left his mark, bro, especially this past season, especially in the playoffs at that, because he was named the defensive player of the game for both the Rose Bowl versus Alabama and the Peach Bowl versus Oregon, where the very first play of the game, he picked off Dante Moore for a pick six.
Yep, he jumped that route, bro. That's the thing about Pons is like that play recognition, that eye discipline, that route recognition, where he's able to just time the throw and jump the route. Like he already diagnoses the play before it happens. That's the thing about Pons is he's so aware He reads the quarterback's eyes. He puts himself in positions where the ball isn't even there yet to make plays. He's such an intelligent football player. He's a strong corner. He's got the speed to keep up with any receiver in the league. He's strong in the press. He's very good in the zone. Like I said, eye discipline. He's got a lot of tendencies to him that you really want in the next slot corner. We need that. We haven't really had a predominant lockdown slot corner in quite some time.
It's been a minute. It's been a rotating door of players, and it's just enough of that. Enough of that. Like, if you want to fulfill slot corner and get a damn good one at that, Pons can be that guy. And he's that good.
I'll leave it off with this, man. He has never given up more than 60% passer rating when targeted in his entire college career. Not at James Madison, and definitely not at Indiana. Pons is the guy. Like, this is the way. If he's there at 53, this is the way. Like, Omar Khan has said many times in the past, he said it with Derek Harmon last year. He said there's just some players you don't pass up on. There's some players you don't trade back from. Pons is one of those guys.
If he falls to 53, bro, you can't pass up on that.
And Steelers met with him at the Combine. They had a formal meeting with him at the Combine.
So there you go.
Now let's go to the 76th overall pick, which is via Dallas. We traded away George Pickens for a third rounder. Now we have that pick. What do we use that for? Well, again, if you guys have been listening to us for any period of time, we've been very vocal about the wide receiver position, how they need to completely address it and essentially revamp the entire position entirely.
Just fulfill it, fix it, complete it.
They need at least 3 or 4 new receivers on the team via free agency in the draft. I'm hoping they grab somebody in free agency that's going to be a solid 2 or a depth guy, maybe a return specialist. I don't know exactly what fish they're going to try to lure in free agency, right? But I do still firmly believe that they should address wide receiver twice in the draft, whether that's in the first round and later day 2 or early day 3 or later day 3. Either way, you got to bring in at least 2 faces at wide receiver in the draft. You have to double dip.
And the Steelers, I mean, it's obvious with how many picks they have the flexibility. And you look at the wide receiver class, it's one of those positions that is absolutely stacked. And you just can't pass up on some of this talent.
No, you cannot. And with the pick that we got from George Pickens, why not take a George Pickens-like receiver? With the 76th overall pick via Dallas, the Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Ted Hurst, wide receiver out of Georgia State. Again, using the pick that we got from Pickens, we get a Pickens-like receiver. He's a little bigger than Pickens. He's 6'4", 204, with insane speed and body control. One thing about him is, like, you see his size, you see his measurables. That's the ideal measurement you want from a wide receiver. But his agility and how loose he is as an athlete and how fluid he is in the hips, that immediately makes him a red zone threat. That makes him a weapon in the red zone for the 50-50 balls. He has a wide catch radius. You know, he's a loose athlete, like I mentioned. This guy has Pickens tendencies without the Pickens attitude.
And he's somebody that just brings, intrigue and upside to the table. Like, to start off, he can start off his depth and then work his way up there because his route tree isn't all the way there. But, I mean, he's only 21 years old, and he can just continue to make room for his route tree. There's plenty of room to grow.
And see, that's the intriguing part about him is, like, he already has, the 50-50 balls down. He already has the speed and the athleticism and the agility you want for his size as a receiver. He has the wide catch radius, which is incredible because he can make any catch you want him to. He does have some concentration drop concerns, which can definitely be worked on. He definitely needs a little more work in terms of a receiver in his releases. That technique needs to be a little bit more refined, as did Pickens coming out of Georgia. So it's like he's not coming in to be like an immediate starter like Lemon would be. Lemon's your day 1 starter. He could be worked in as depth, as like the backup X for DK or whoever, and then eventually, he could work his way up and refine his technique in his releases and work on his route tree. And that's the great thing about him is, like, through time, he's shown potential as a route runner. Now, you give him some time to work with the wide receiver room and with the offense, like through the next couple years. I think he's really going to refine a lot of those ingredients as a wide receiver, which is only going to make him more of a dangerous threat.
Yeah, I mean, like you just add upon his size and his speed. Like, keep in mind, he ran a 4.42 at the combine with that size, 6'4", 204. You said, like, that's just incredible. That just adds upon the intrigue and adds upon to the upside that he does bring to the table. And his 2 years at Georgia State, I mean, he had 15 touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So it goes to show, the guy can be a touchdown magnet. The guy can be a very solid hand at that to start off his depth, but as well as a fun developmental guy for the Steelers to work with and see what he can do down the road.
Yeah, you work on his route running, you work on his releases, you work at everything pretty much at the line of scrimmage. Then this guy could be a legitimate, serious threat with some refinement, right? But overall, to start off, he'd be a great wide receiver depth. He'd be another big body, that speedster, that deep threat, that big playmaker with the potential to work on his separation down the line. Which, I mean, I think that would be, his ceiling is very high. His potential is very good. And I think in the third round to add more to the receiving room, you got your guy in Lemon. Yeah, he's a little smaller, plays a lot bigger than what his size shows. But if you want that dominance in that size, like the Steelers have a great chance of double dipping in the wide receiver room no matter where it is in the draft, but going and getting someone like a Lemon and then going to get someone of the size of Hurst with the potential that he has, I think that would definitely completely revamp the wide receiver room. I think that would fix the wide receiver room in my opinion.
Yeah, and you have Metcalf a part of that pairing too, that trio there. That could cause havoc if we have the right quarterback at that time and how the offense plays. But listen, I mean, like they need to revamp the wide receiver room, and you got players like that to play, to use, and to help revamp it. You can't beat it.
Well, you got a lot of that dominance, bro. You got a lot of that speed and that size and that demeanor, that demon demeanor from everybody at the wide receiver room, man. That alone already has improved over what we had to do over the last couple of years. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off of DK himself.
Which he needs, desperately.
Yes. So that's why we go with the 76th pick via Dallas. We go another wide receiver double dip already in Ted Hurst. Now the 99th overall, or was projected the 99th overall, which is going to be our third round comp that we got from Dan Moore. Thanks, Dan Moore.
4 years of suffering, and here we are.
Yes. We traded the 85th pick, one of our third rounders to Tampa Bay. So we don't have that, but we do still have the third round comp pick that we're going to get via Dan Moore. So that makes trading up for Lemon a little more sacrificial because, hey, we still got an extra third rounder to use. Now, again, wide receiver is fixed. Corner is still a need. Safety still a need. Guard still a need. Linebacker, D-line. At the end of the third round here, like the very end of the third round, we go corner again. Because, in my opinion, the top two needs for the Steelers is wide receiver and corner. I know you might say quarterback. I'm willing to be patient with that first. I'm all about surrounding the team and then going to get that guy so that he has the team and the surround system to succeed. That way we can make a push with whoever that guy is in a rookie deal like so many other teams has. We need to stack some of these positions with all the extra picks that we have, especially in the top 100. So that's why we go corner again in the third round with the comp pick here, because we need corner. Like, look at our corners. It's JPJ, it's Corey Trice, it's Dante Kent, and we don't know if Pierre or Asante Samuel Jr. are going to be back. Neither or both. We don't know yet.
Yeah, still a question mark.
We don't know if we're going to sign a corner. This is
they better address it, that's for sure.
I know. But that's why we addressed it here, because we need more bodies in the corner room. We need more youth there, and we just need an extra outside corner, another boundary corner opposite JPJ. Now, depending on what we do at corner via the draft or via free agency or via our own free agents, this guy wouldn't have to start immediately, but down the road, I think he would be the eventual fix opposite JPJ. With the third round comp pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Julian Neal, defensive back out of Arkansas. 6'2", 203. So he matches the taller corner body that the Steelers have been pretty much adding to the room since Omar Khan took over. They did that with JPJ. They did that with Corey Trice. They did that with a couple other corners. They want that physical size. They want those measurables at that position. Julian Neal already checks it off. You need to be good in press coverage. You need to be good in man coverage. You need to be physical at the cornerback position. Guess what? Julian Neal checks it off as well. Originally starting at Fresno State, he actually only saw 4 starts in 4 years. which was all, I believe, in 2024. He finally transferred to Arkansas, starting all 12 games in 2025, and he had 2 interceptions and 10 passes defended. And that's the one thing about Neal is he is a physical corner. He brings that physical demeanor to every aspect of his game. In press coverage, in man coverage, in zone coverage, he's a physical guy.
Or even just tackling at that. Like, his open field tackling is a very underrated aspect of his game. Like, when you need him to make a tackle, he's one of your guys that can do it. And another thing about him is just due to his size, tremendous size, 6'2", 203, he is also very strong and dependable with his size. Like, that's what he brings to the table, is strength and dependability. And that's what you need for a guy like Neal.
And him as a run defender, like, he is one of the more willing run defending corners in this draft. He is very, very physical at the line. He's very physical. He is not afraid to get mean with the ball carrier and put his shoulder down and lay a hit and then wrap up the ball carrier for a stop. You know, he's very quick at diagnosing certain plays at the line, certain screens. He's right there the second that the receiver catches the ball, and boom, he's already on the ground.
Yeah, just able to shed off blocks from anybody and just get to the ball carrier. Like, he's that quick to the ball carrier.
Yeah, this guy just does nothing but speak physicality, even in coverage. He's a good athlete. He's got speed. He did 16 bench reps. You know, he's 6'2". He's got essentially most of the physical and the athletic traits that you want in an outside corner. He's able to shift his hips and is strong enough to compete with receivers on routes. So he's got lockdown potential. I really like Julian Neal. I think he's one of the more underrated guys. I think he could be a very solid pick for anybody day 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes earlier, honestly. But I think he's going to be a very, very good corner in the NFL.
And he's a name that, again, in a very stacked cornerback class, he's one of those guys that just kind of catches your eye, just based off his size for sure. But without a doubt, his capabilities on the football field. Like, for him to be a depth piece to start off would be very beneficial. But, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he were to compete for a starting role and even potentially earn that right just because of his upside.
I think that's the idea of selecting this guy is eventually he would take over that cornerback 2 spot opposite JPJ, and you got your 2 lockdown corners.
Yeah.
JPJ eventually getting an extension. You got Neal on a rookie deal. You got Pons in the slot. I mean, come on, man. You can't get more physical than that.
No. And that's what the Steelers secondary just entirely, especially cornerback, that's what they need.
That's what
you already have that in Porter, but like for slot and outside, you got to get younger at that. You got to fix that.
You gotta fill those positions, man, to make the no-fly zone for the Steelers, dude.
Yeah, for real.
Like, you need that.
And I don't think there's a better draft class to really do that and fulfill that than this one, considering how stacked it is and just the talent that this draft class has.
Yeah. So you bring him in, you have him compete with whoever, whether that's a free agent you bring in, or maybe they bring back Pierre. I'm still very confident that they will bring back Pierre. I think Omar is very confident and comfortable with the play that Pierre did last year, and very big props to Pierre. But bring him in, bring Pierre back, and then draft a corner like Neal to compete. And then let's see what these guys got. Eventually, you know, I think we're going to have ourselves a good corner regardless. But I really like Julian Neal as a pick in the back end of day 2 to help solidify and complete that corner position. That way we ain't got to worry about no aging rentals. We ain't got to worry about no more one-year rentals and all this. Let's finally fulfill the position. And then you would have JPJ on an impending extension and then 2 young guys on rookie deals, dude.
Can't beat it, dude.
Can't beat it. Now, let's get into the 4th round, day 3. Let's get into all these day 3 picks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 day 3 picks to get into.
Wow.
Yes. One in the 4th round, we actually have 2 4th-round picks. One of them, I believe, is going to be a comp pick, and one is our own. So with our own, initially, our first 4th-round pick here, again, we could still go safety, linebacker, let me see, defensive line, right, quarterback, right? We still need safety. We don't stop with the secondary here, folks. No, the secondary has a lot of holes. The secondary has a lot of positions that still need addressed, and we need depth. Not only depth, we need potential starter upside behind the starters, right? That's why we go safety here at the first pick in the 4th round, because we need another safety. We don't have depth. Our depth is
Sebastian Castro.
Correct.
I'm not even kidding.
I like Castro. I was very impressed with what he did in preseason. But you can't just go with that as your depth and be solidified. You need extra names.
Now, when you have LA coming back from injury, and I'm assuming Ramsey as your starting free safety.
Ramsey will be back. Khan did admit that. We don't know where, but let's say they put him back at free safety, which is fine. You still need depth. Could they sign somebody? Absolutely. But guess what? That hasn't happened yet.
But this is pre-free agency again, so like here we are.
So in the 4th round, we go safety, and somebody the Steelers like a lot because they met with him at the Senior Bowl and the Combine. With our first 4th round pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Bud Clark, safety out of TCU. You want to talk about a straight ball hawk? Look no further.
Yeah, if there's 2 words to describe Bud Clark, it is that, ball hawk.
15, yes, you heard me, 15 career interceptions, including 2 pick sixes, and 21 passes defended in his last 4 years at TCU. Another word that describes Bud Clark is versatility. He is versatile. So he can work anywhere you want in the secondary. You want him in the slot, he can work that. He's worked a lot of time in the slot. You want to start him out as a dime backer, which I think would be very ideal for his immediate starter role. He can do that. He can play deep, which I think is going to be one of his better traits for the NFL. I think that's where he's going to rely a lot in the NFL, is him back at free safety, or if you want him to work in the box, he can do that. Now, he is 6'1", 188. He's got the height you want. He's a little skinny for his height, so he's going to have to bulk up a little bit. But here's the thing about Bud Clark. You're not asking him to start day one. Jalen Ramsey's still here.
Yeah.
How much longer, we don't know. But that's why you draft a guy like Bud Clark for great depth. You get him going as a dime backer in sub packages. You put him down deep in some packages. That way you can put Ramsey down at the line if you really desire to. You can get very creative with a lot of these defensive packages with all the DBs that we are selecting here in this mock. And the great thing about Bud Clark is you can put him on special teams, man. He brings immediate special teams value.
He's got plenty of experience over there.
Yeah.
But just his aspect of the game is on defense and his versatility. And you have to imagine under new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham that he would just salivate over the idea of moving him around, whether that's in the slot or in the box or even as a deep safety, right? Because that's how versatile he is. He can play free safety, strong safety. He can play anywhere within the secondary. Whatever you need him to do, Bud Clark's got you. And I'm sure Graham right there would just love to have a guy of his versatility and his upside at that, a part of the secondary.
And he's another very speedy, athletic defensive back that would bring great depth immediately, but has a ton of upside. I think he has starter upside down the road. He's not going to be a starter day one, but he's going to see some impact on the defense for sure. One thing I like about Clark is he has great eye discipline, great route recognition. He's able to diagnose plays before they even happen. He reads the quarterback's eyes. He constantly jumps routes underneath. And as a run defender, again, physicality to the T, bro. His tackling has improved every single year at TCU.
Yep.
He uses a lot of his speed and physical nature as a strong downhill runner.
And another thing that he brings to the table, I should point this out, was he was a 2-time captain for TCU.
Correct.
So that showcases his leadership qualities and even his communication to the defense, to which that's what the defense needs, even in a depth guy and a versatile piece like him. So him bringing that just makes him, again, an even more intriguing player for the Steelers to eye on.
He brings a lot of qualities that you really want in a future defensive back. And I think in the 4th round, I think that would be a hell of a steal. That's great value right there for Bud Clark. I would not be surprised if he's selected day 2. Now, safety's very deep, though. Safety's very deep.
The secondary overall, it's stacked.
Bro, if there is a draft class for them to finally fix the secondary, it is this one. And that's why we go secondary very heavy here early in the mock. Like literally all we've done in this mock so far is wide receiver and defensive backs.
Pretty much.
Can you blame us? I know we need quarterback and we need all these other positions. We'll get to it. But I think they need to prioritize wide receiver and the secondary for sure.
Considering how stacked, again, both positions are and just how many picks you have, I mean, how can you not fulfill those positions? There's no better class for you to do it, especially with it being in Pittsburgh, the draft being in Pittsburgh. That just makes it even sweeter.
Agreed.
Like just do what you need to do here.
Now, with our 2nd, 4th round pick, which will be a comp pick, we're going to go offense here, not quarterback. We're going to go offensive line because there is a glaring hole on the line as of now that could be filled. I would hope that it's filled during free agency. I'm kind of going to go with the idea and the belief that they will fix guard in free agency, but we still need depth. And let's say that they do fill guard, but who is going to be that guard? Is it going to be one of those aging vets? that's going to be a short-term solution, or they're going to bring Sam Malu back. We don't entirely know. So with this pick, we bring in depth while bringing in someone that honestly could be another Mason McCormick, in our opinion.
Reminds me a lot of Mason McCormick, actually.
Me too. So with the 4th round comp pick we have, our second 4th round pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Bo Stevens, guard out of Iowa.
Another Iowa cat.
I mean, Steelers love the Iowa cats,
Yeah,
man.
within the past 2 draft classes, they have selected 3 Iowa players. That was Logan Lee, Caleb Johnson, to which this man blocked for just 2 years ago, and Y.A. Black.
Yes, and in this one, we go back to the Iowa roots with Bo Stevens to get their dominant left guard. Now, he did start at right guard as a redshirt freshman in 2022. Then, unfortunately, due to injuries and beginner woes, in 2023, he moved over to left guard. Well, he dealt with injuries in 2023. And then in 2024, he started 12 games at left guard where he held that position down. He actually helped lead Iowa's strong rushing attack, which was led, obviously, by Caleb Johnson.
Yes, sir.
And he was just as effective, if not better, in 2025, where he started 13 games and only gave up 4 hurries and no sacks.
Not even any quarterback hits at that. Like, it goes to show how strong and how disciplined and quite the anchor that he is in pass protection.
He is disciplined because he doesn't have many penalties under his belt, and he's just an anchor. Like in pass pro, as a run blocker, he plays through the whistle. He's always trying to put someone in the turf.
Yeah, like for an offensive lineman, like you want him to move people. He does not get moved often. That's just how strong he is, especially with his build. What is he, 6'5", 315 pounds? He's bigger than McCormick. McCormick's an anchor at right guard.
He is. Let's say they go with a veteran guard that's going to be like a short-term solution, like, I don't know, Elton Jenkins, right? Let's say they sign Elton Jenkins, who's going to be cut by the Packers. Let's say that they move him back to guard, right, since he was put at center for some reason. Good job, Green Bay. He's not a long-term solution. That's why you go and grab somebody like a Bo Stevens there. He's not going to be a day one starter unless, of course, he has to be like a McCormick story all over again. But he's someone that could step up to the plate. He's someone that has worked his ass off and has really improved year in and year out. And he's just an effective guy at the line of scrimmage, bro. He has a strong punch, at the whistle. He's an effective run blocker. He has potential to be a very solid, effective pull guard. So I think once this guy gets under the belt of our new O-line coach, who has done very well with his history, especially what he did with the Packers. I know that was years ago, but I mean, compared to Pat Meyer, listen, I'm just saying, I really like Bo Stevens. I think he is a sleeper. He's kind of one of my guys this year. I'm not going to lie to you. Like when I look at the prospects at certain positions, Bo Stevens is kind of one of my guys. I just like the way he plays, man. He's a mauler. Once he gets to the second level, he plays with a nasty intent to just hurt somebody or to get lanes up. I mean, he reminds me a lot of McCormick. Omar's been very, very good at grabbing some of these mid-round gems, like McCormick, like Nick Herbig, right?
Jack Sawyer.
I mean, believe me, day 3, come the early day 3 picks that we have, which are a bunch of them. I'm sure he's going to grab at least one of many studs that are going to be still on the board. And in this one, we're going to go with Bud Clark with the first 4th round pick, and then Bo Stevens here to fill the guard spot. Again, he wouldn't start day 1 unless he has to. I wouldn't expect him to start day 1, but you let him work under the system. You let him work on his technique a little bit. I think he has starter upside.
Oh, big time. I mean, he's just a guy that just wants to get better, just wants to grow. I mean, he was that way in Iowa. I have no doubt that would be the way in the NFL.
Right. Now let's get into the 5th round pick. Now, again, we traded our 5th round pick to the Bucs for their 5th round pick. So essentially, we moved up in the 5th round a little bit. Via the Bucs, 5th round pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we go trenches again, except we go to the other side. We finally go defensive line here. With the 5th round pick via the Bucs, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Rayshawn Benny, defensive lineman out of Michigan. We go defensive line here because we need D-line depth. Now, one thing about Benny is he's 6'3", 298, which means he plays mostly as a 3-tech. That's where he played most of his time at Michigan. Now, his first couple years in Michigan, obviously he was deep down into the depth chart trenches because he was behind first-round picks in Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, right? Now, he finally got the starting role in 2025 where he did decent. He didn't do as good as the guys before him, right? But he's a strong run defender. Like, when you look at his tape, when you look at what he does, he is mostly a stout run defender. That's the one thing that points out to him is that he can stop the run. He's a much better run defender than he is a pass rusher. As a pass rusher, his moves need a lot of work.
Sure.
But I think what his role would be is you have him come in, you be that 3 tech, you bring him in on situational downs, early downs or whatnot to give Hayward or certain guys a break where it's obvious they're going to run the ball. You bring him in to fill the gaps, and that's what he would do. Pretty much. I think he would fulfill that run defending depth guy that we don't exactly have. It would add more to the defensive line. And frankly, with him potentially being the backup 3 tech, that might push Y.A. Black to play the nose. That might push Y.A. Black to play the 0 tech, which I think could be a good role for him. He didn't look particularly great at that spot last year. He played more 3 tech than 0, but maybe that forces him over to O because he's that bigger body. He's the biggest body we got on the defensive line. So if you want somebody to clog that nose, Y.A. Black could shift over if we draft somebody to essentially take over that 3 tech backup role.
And it could be one of those experiments that our new defensive line coach, former Bengal, that he could opt to do. He could look to experiment, see how it works out. Maybe Y.A. Black in his second year. Maybe there's more comfortability there, with more room to grow there. But just to add depth here with Rayshawn Benny right here out of Michigan, just to add more depth, even as, a 3 tech rotational piece backup right there, get younger at the depth. I don't think you can beat it whatsoever.
No, I mean, he stacks up double teams and he fills gaps really well. I mean, that's his best trait. He doesn't have too much pass rush upside, but it's something he could work on, but that wouldn't be his initial role immediately. I like the depth. We need to add more depth there, and it's very young. So I think, adding him in and what his best qualities are and then what Y.A. Black's qualities could be with his measurables, that might signal that, hey, that might fix the run game problems. Or they could go defensive line earlier. I don't doubt that one bit because Hayward's up there in age.
Sure.
Obviously, Keanu Ben is in line for an extension at some point as he's deserved because, I mean, he just had himself a really good season. Benton's not the nose. I think he could be the future 3 opposite of Harmon at some point, but I do think they will at some point address defensive line. They haven't looked at too many of them. They've looked at some top ones early on into the draft, but I think in the 5th round, that's kind of the sweet spot for D-line depth, very much like last year.
Sure.
Now, we don't have a 6th round pick until very, very late, where we have 2 comp 6th round picks. So we have 2 6th round picks that we're going to pick here. Again, this could go anywhere now. At this point, you're just looking for depth. You're looking at best quality available. You're looking at what positions can we fill for camp bodies or whatnot, right? You're not really looking for anything dramatic. You're not looking for anything crazy unless, of course, someone falls or whatnot. You never know what you're going to get.
Sure.
But here we fill some of the other needs that I think the Steelers should definitely address if they don't address it in free agency. 4 more picks to go, 2 of them in the 6th round. The first one, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Bryce Betcher, linebacker out of Oregon. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He gives me serious, and I mean serious, Robert Spillane vibes.
I was thinking the same thing.
And shout out to Robert Spillane, bro. He just went to the Super Bowl with the Patriots.
It's quite a story for Spillane. I mean, we know what he did, filling in for Bush and then him going to the Raiders and the Patriots. Quite a story, and listen, props to Robert Spillane. He's always been a contributive football player.
He is. But that's what Betcher reminds me of. He might be a little bit more athletic. He might be better in coverage than a Robert Spillane, honestly.
Yeah.
What's funny about Betcher is that he actually started off as a baseball player.
So yes, he is a 2-sport athlete. As a matter of fact, I believe he was actually drafted in the 13th round of the MLB draft by the Houston Astros.
Yeah, in 2024.
Yes.
But he opted to go to Oregon. He opted to go back to Oregon for 1 more year. And he had himself probably his best season to date. Now, initially, again, he was initially a baseball player, so football wasn't even on his mind. And then Oregon had tryouts for certain students, and that's where his Oregon linebacking career really started, for the Ducks. And his first 2 years, he played linebacker, and he started out as a special teams guy. And then he finally got the starting role in 2024, where he really burst onto the scene. And then 2025, again, he played himself as a leader in the middle of the Ducks defense, where he, again, had himself another really good year, stacking up a lot of tackles and getting a sack or so, playing a big role in the rushing defense, which is again, his best trait. This guy is a downhill striker. This guy diagnoses run plays very quickly. This guy is not afraid to be a straight shooter in the gaps and go make the tackle on the ball carrier.
That's right.
That is the one trait about Betcher is he can sometimes overcommit or he might overassess sometimes, but his instincts and his awareness and his speed and his athleticism is what brings his value as a run defender immediately, which again, he wouldn't be a day one starter because he's a 6th-round pick and Patrick Queen's going to stick around. We still have Peyton Wilson. Lord knows what's going to happen with Malik Harrison. This would be extra linebacker depth. This would be competition. This would be extra added bonus for special teams. And frankly, this could be the Malik Harrison replacement depending on his future. I think this guy would be a better option than the Malik Harrison. He's already more athletic. He's already better than coverage. Now, the great thing about Betcher is he still has room to grow. He's only played the position for 3 years. He's still as ferocious of a run defender, hitting open gaps, making a play on the ball carrier, great instincts. He plays with a high motor, and he's very solid in man-to-man coverage versus the tight ends and the running backs.
It just goes to show, the type of grit that he brings to the sport of football and the effort and the hustle that he brings. And he's just been a hell of a player for them. I mean, he's one of their better defenders over there down in college. And, it's quite the story for a guy like Betcher, for him to, potentially get drafted in the NFL draft right here. But, he gives it his all, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and the Steelers have met with him, obviously, at the combine. And obviously, they looked at Oregon's tape last year for obvious reasons. So I'm sure Betcher was already on their mind. So now that he's declaring for the draft and he's done drills for the combine, Steelers met with him there. I'm sure he's going to be on their radar later in day 3 just for extra field depth for the linebacker room for what could honestly be a role for him down the road where he sees himself as a rotational piece along the starting lineup. Not as a starter, but as a rotational guy in certain situations.
Yeah, as like a rundown defender and whatnot.
Exactly.
And that's his best trait. Like, the guy is a thumper. The guy will hit you. The guy will get to you.
Now, another thing about him, he will be 24, so he's going to be a little bit of an older guy, an older rookie, and he did only play the position for 3 years. But in the 6th round here, again, you're just looking for depth. You're looking for competition. You're looking for more special teams value. And with Betcher, I think he's got the ceiling and the upside to see himself as a rotational guy on obvious rundowns. And with coverage, with solid coverage and good sideline-to-sideline athleticism, well enough that you could trust him to work in that area as well. I like Betcher a lot. Now, our extra 6th-round comp pick. We finally go quarterback. Yes, we finally go quarterback here. Quarterback is not good.
No.
This class is not good. It is one of the weaker quarterback classes I can remember. Right?
Probably since 2022. And we know how that draft class went.
There is not many good quarterbacks in this class.
No, literally, it's Mendoza, and then it's a wide margin of everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. I won't even throw Ty Simpson up there. I'm not really the biggest Ty Simpson fan or believer.
Well, I'm not a big fan of many of these quarterbacks.
No.
I'm not a big fan of Simpson. I'm not a big fan of Klubnik. I'm not a big fan of Allaire. Like, if we were going to take a quarterback in this draft class, I think the ideal spot is day 3 because at that point, you're not risking much.
No.
You're not. You would risk a little something if you take someone earlier in, like, day 2.
And that would just be a mistake on the Steelers' part. Like, there's no quarterback worthy of selecting one that early, day 2.
Not in my opinion.
No.
But we finally go quarterback here because I'm sure the Steelers are going to. They have so many picks they at some point have to. It's not the greatest class to do it. But in the 3rd round, or I'm sorry, in day 3, in the 6th round, the end of the 6th round, it's a no-risk dart throw here. And with this one, we're going to go Cole Payton, quarterback out of North Dakota State. He's got the NFL build you want, bro. 6'3", 232, but the athleticism of a dual-threat quarterback. 31 career rushing touchdowns, and he plays with confidence in the pocket. And to me, that shows that Peyton has a good skill set. Now, again, this guy would just be a camp body. This guy would be an extra spot at the quarterback room. This guy would just be nothing but depth. Like, I think his ceiling in the NFL is a primary backup. I do like his upside. I do like his potential and his skill set. Because I like a lot of traits about him. I love his dual threat ability. I like how he's accurate down the field and he hits his receivers in stride on the deep ball, where he did a lot of that in his only lone starting season at North Dakota State, man. He connected a lot, especially with underrated wide receiver, by the way, Bryce
Lance.
Bryce Lance.
Yes.
Trey Lance's brother. Just gonna throw that out there. He very underrated.
Yeah, he is. He's very talented. He saw a lot of targets last year.
But
Cole
Payton was his quarterback.
Yeah, and another thing about Cole Payton is he is actually a left-handed quarterback.
Yes, he is, which is odd.
He's got a decent arm. He's got solid accuracy, even for a guy of his capabilities and whatnot. But his dual threat ability, I mean, that's what sticks out about him. Extend plays, just gain extra yardage with his feet, like that. That's what's going to be. That's what's going to be captivating of his play.
Yeah, because I like a lot of his accuracy. He's got a solid accuracy and does a good job of hitting receivers in open spaces and throwing with anticipation, essentially throwing his receivers open. That's a great trait that I think a lot of quarterbacks should adapt, is learning to throw with anticipation. It's a lot of chemistry. It's a lot of, just reading the defense, something that Cole Payton does very solid. Now, his accuracy in other areas is spotty. He does have an issue of being just a one-read guy and having trouble of reading defenses. That might just be probably because he only had one full season as a starter. But again, this is a no-risk dart throw at the end of the 6th round, quarterback competition. But if you look at it and you look at his skill set, it's the kind of quarterback that McCarthy wants. He wants a mobile guy with, toughness and grit, the ability to extend plays, and a decent arm to him with some room to grow. I do like Cole Payton's upside. If there's a day 3 guy I would like the Steelers to select, there's not too many of them, but Cole Payton's up there. I do like a lot of what he shows. I like his skill set. So I think Cole Payton here for the Steelers at the end of the 6th round is, again, just no risk. You bring him in for competition, and best case for him, he's the 3 this year. We don't know who the 1's going to be. Number 2 is probably going to be Mason or Will Howard. Best case for him, he's the 3. Or he's stashed on the practice squad and works his way up the roster for primary role.
Yeah, just red shirts, if anything, his rookie year. But, just with his skill set, as a matter of fact, I was thinking of this. His skill set kind of reminds me a bit of Taysom Hill.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Just his athleticism, his versatility, his skill set. Just a guy that I don't think right out the gate, obviously. But, maybe down the road, if he develops, maybe in, package situations.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of like what the Saints do with Taysom Hill, what they've done for years. It's kind of that role. I think that could be a fine role for Cole Payton.
Who's to say he doesn't change positions to get himself on the football field?
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me one bit, just because of how athletic he is.
He's got the build and the speed to do it. The guy's he's a tough player. He's a leader. He's gritty. I like a lot of what Cole Payton brings to the table. I do. So if there's a quarterback that we would like them to take later on, Cole Payton's up there for me. By the way, quick trivia question. Who was the last lefty quarterback for the Steelers?
I don't know. Who was it?
Michael Vick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Everyone forgets that.
Funny enough, the other day I actually saw his last comeback play versus the Chargers that Monday night when Bell got the touchdown.
Yeah.
As time expired. Yeah, that was wild. That was a crazy experience.
That was 11 years ago.
You're lying.
Bro, that was 2015. We're in 2016 now. That was almost 11 years ago. Where's the time gone? I remember
it's gone by, bro.
I remember that like it was yesterday, bro.
God. That was actually Michael Vick's last comeback.
That was his last.
He was a king of the comebacks, and that was his last comeback.
Yeah, that was his last comeback win, but his last win was versus the Cardinals shortly after that. Landry Jones came in, Martavis Bryant torched that Cardinals defense.
Yeah.
2015 was a weird year.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy year.
Weird year, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Carson Palmer started that game for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Going back. Anyway, let's get back on track. 7th round. We got 2 7th round picks. In the first one, we're going to address O-line again because we still need depth in certain areas, specifically tackle. So we're going to go O-line one more time here. We're going to go Keegan Trost, offensive tackle out of Missouri. He's experienced at both tackle spots, so he's right out the gate, swing tackle depth.
Yep.
Because we don't really have that. We thought maybe that was Dylan Cook, but Dylan Cook might be in line for a starter role. They might sign a depth guy to be that swing guy because they cut Calvin Anderson.
Or they plan to cut Calvin Anderson.
We don't have a swing tackle guy. Now, there is some concern with Trost and his arm length. That might force him to be pushed inside, which at that point, listen, I think that adds more value because you can put him at tackle, you could swing, you could pull him at guard, you could swing him anywhere you want on either side of the offensive line. That brings immediate, attractive defensive value, in my opinion. Now, he is also a lot older for a rookie. He's going to be 25 by draft time. But it's in the 7th round, and you need that kind of extra body. You need that kind of depth and that experience on the line in the depth chart for the offensive line. This guy has played 7 years in college. 7 for 4 different schools, going back to 2019.
And 19 at Morgan State, and then playing at Indiana State for 4 years, then at Wake Forest, where he started 11 games, then finally landing at Missouri.
Yes, where he started all his games at right tackle last year, where he really finally found himself. He found some ground. He found himself to be, a really good tackle for him, essentially another anchor, a core piece for them in their rushing attack. A lot of their rushing attack really thrived mostly because of what Trost brought to that side, that right side, right, which is that aggression, that demeanor, that anchor in pass pro. What he does in pass pro is very solid. He doesn't allow defenders to get in his chest. He counteracts pass rush moves with, a good initial punch and strong hands and great footwork to set a good edge, right? And he moves people as a run blocker. I like this guy later on as a depth piece because of his swing ability and the experience he has. I'm not worried about his age because it's a 7th round guy and we need depth there. Why not? It's another camp body. It's extra depth. It's somebody with an immense amount of experience. You can't really pass a lot on that.
No, you can't. And just his versatility, with his swing ability for left and right tackle, or even if he has to move to guard due to his arm length or even his size at that. I mean, you can't beat it with a versatile piece like that. Kind of like Spencer Anderson to a degree, just a little bit, just his versatility. But if you remember last year with Darnell and Spencer Anderson as that, especially Spencer Anderson as that extra run blocker or whatnot for certain packages to help with the run game, I can see Trost kind of filling that same role. I feel like that would be a fine role for a guy like Trost.
Yeah, that 6 lineman. Yeah, that jumbo package.
Yeah, if need be.
I do like that potential because I could absolutely see him playing that role later on.
Yeah.
So that's another added aspect of Trost for him and his potential. But 7 years in college, 4 different schools, but over 50 career games played. So
he's got it down.
I think he's going to get drafted. I think he's going to get drafted, and I think he'll be very quality depth. We need extra depth there. We need some extra bodies on that line. That's kind of what we're looking for in the 7th round. You're not looking for no crazy selections or some superstars. It'd be nice if you can get like another Brett Kiesel somehow, right?
Yeah.
It's not expected every single draft.
No, it's a rarity, man. It really is.
You're just looking for extra bodies. You're looking for competition. You're looking for practice squad guys. You're looking for people you can build up. And Trost, I think he would add much needed depth to either tackle position, or if you want to put him inside, that's added bonus there. One more pick, folks. One more pick. We're at the end of the line.
The finish line, finally.
The 11th pick in this mock.
God, how many? The amount of picks. My God. Wow.
Oh, wait until we do a mock where we don't trade back. Then we have to do all 12. Which is probably going to be.
That's going to be fun.
Probably going to happen.
That's going to be fun.
One more pick here. The last pick of this mock in the late 7th round. This could go anywhere. Like, they could go edge. They could go, I don't know. Maybe they want to go quarterback and maybe they go running back for whatever reason. They could go anywhere.
Or they could go tight end.
They could go tight end. They could go fullback because we don't know what the future holds for Connor Hayward as he's a free agent. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Steelers bring him back just because his brother's still on the team. And I think Connor deserves an extension. But let's say you still want to add a hybrid piece or an extra tight end to the room. Not just for this year. You want to stash him on the practice squad and keep him as a reserve piece, maybe as a special teams guy. I really like Riley Nakowski, tight end out of Indiana. We double dip at Indiana. You notice the Steelers love to double dip at schools. They've done it for so many years now.
Many times.
Hell,
many times.
Last year, they did it at Iowa and Ohio State.
Didn't they do that in 2023 with Wisconsin and wasn't it another school? It was Wisconsin and
Georgia.
Yeah.
Because we got Broderick and Darnell.
Keep the trend going, huh?
Steelers love that locker room chemistry. They love to double dip at schools, so that's what we do here with Riley
Nowakowski. Nowakowski.
Yeah.
So now you know.
Yes. Fun fact about Nowakowski, he started out as a linebacker at Wisconsin before finally switching to fullback in 2022, which kind of reminds me of Roosevelt Nix.
I was just about to say the same thing, bro.
Who remembers Roosevelt Nix? Converted a linebacker, converted fullback. He was a hell of a blocker.
Oh, he was great. Rosie Nix was great,
He
bro.
was awesome.
I miss Rosie Nix.
So do I. But yes, he was a linebacker and he converted to fullback in 2022, and then he added moving to tight end in 2023. And then he finally transferred to Indiana just last year, where obviously he started every single game for him and then won the Natty title, playing a significant role as their tight end, as a critical blocker in many areas. In the goal line, in the run game, in pass pro. They used him a lot as a blocker primarily. That's what his role was, is, hey, you're just going to be a blocker. You're going to do the dirty work pretty much. Like everything that we need you to do that's going to be, gritty and bring physicality to the line, create run lanes and run gaps. He's going to do it. Nowakowski's going to do it, and he did it to a great degree. Kurt Signetti loved this guy. He just loved the way he played on the field. He brings special teams value as well. He even got 2 rushing touchdowns. I like the way he plays. He's aggressive at the line. He's a very good blocker. He's even used as like an H-back, a hybrid, a secret weapon. They used him a lot on play actions and the quick little dump offs where he saw a lot of yak yards where he just went up the field and got some big chunk plays and even a couple scores, right? Especially against, I think it was Illinois and Wisconsin. He did that too. So he saw a role for the offense with Mendoza and Cooper and Surratt and all those guys, right? He found a role, and his role was very effective because it led to obviously a Natty title. In fact, he got a touchdown in the Natty game. So
yeah, fullback sneak, I believe.
Yeah, like he saw a role, and I think his role for the Steelers is he would be extra tight end depth. He'd be a critical blocker, potential fullback. He can work special teams as he did that at Wisconsin. I like Nikowski for a 7th round pick to just throw a dart at any other position you want. Let's continue to build the tight end room. We got Fryermuth, we got Darnell. We don't know what the future holds for Jonnu. I'm surprised he still even has a job on the team right now, at least of this recording. But you bring him in. Maybe he's the 3rd tight end. You want to bring him in goal line situations. He's very well experienced. He's done that at a high level before. Bring him into the team, play the tight end role. You want to put him at fullback, by all means.
He's just that extra weapon. He's that extra hand. He's that capable blocker if you need him to be a solid fullback, or even as an extra hand in the passing game, that extra tight end. Like, there is a role for him, I think, in the NFL. If not the Steelers, definitely within the NFL for Nowakowski.
Agreed. Like, he is just somebody that you ask him to do something, he's going to do it with a smile on his face.
Big time.
And that's all he did last year for Kurt Signetti.
All the man wants to do is play football.
Yeah, like, this is just one of those positions. This is one of those picks that could go anywhere. So we go tight end because why not? Why not, right? We'll go and continue to stack tight end, add more to the offense.
To finish off this pre-free agency mock draft,
yes,
SteelTwins Nation.
That is 11 picks in the books.
That's after a lot of picks, a lot of players.
A lot, yeah, and a lot of, thinking and revision because we had so many, swapping. We considered so many other players and a lot of players that we really like and a lot of sleepers, and we mix match certain positions at certain rounds. We're like, but we're just going to finalize it here. We're going to prioritize receiver. We're going to prioritize the secondary. We're going to double dip at the O-line. We're going to add, more to the defense in the trenches in the front 7. We really thought that these could be the positions that the Steelers should address. We obviously took a quarterback later on and then, a backup tight end. So let us know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Let us know you guys' mocks down in the comments below. Again, next time we have a mock draft, this could look drastically different. I don't know what the Steelers are going to do in free agency. I'm not expecting much, but they have the cap space to make a splash or two. It's just a matter of, are they going to do it?
Exactly.
I hope that they go grab a receiver. I hope that they go grab a guard. I hope they go grab a corner. Maybe they grab a quarterback. We don't know. Obviously what that does is going to tell more for what we know is going to be a bit of more of an idea of what they could do in the draft.
Yeah, a bit more of a better understanding and a better, vision of what they could do.
Yeah.
A better, look. And we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But free agency is right around the corner, man. We'll see if the Steelers start resigning some of their players. We know we got to bring Gainwell back, maybe Pierre, maybe some other couple guys. There's not too many I would bring back, but we'll see what the Steelers do. We'll see who they look into. Maybe this time next week we'll have some answers on certain positions, and maybe there's some blockbuster moves. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's the rumor mill. Let me tell you. I mean, it's going. It's getting wild on social media. So I mean, whatever goes out there, take it with a grain of salt. But it's going to get interesting. So we'll see what happens.
And I can't wait. But that is our mock draft, folks. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How do you guys feel about this mock? Let us know your guys' mocks. What positions would you mix match? What positions do you think the Steelers should prioritize? Let us know all your guys' feelings down in the comments. But finally, we got our first mock of the draft season through. There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Genuinely, let us know your guys' thoughts. And then, yeah, we'll see you later this week for more Steelers content as free agency's around the corner. We got to talk about some free agents, including a certain quarterback that was just cut. Yeah, to the lowest degree. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. We'll see you later on this week. And obviously next week for more Steelers content as, of course, free agency is going to get heated. And hopefully there's some more news in regards to the Steelers for that fact. So with that being said, we'll see you then. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!